We are now in the fag end of this. We are in the fag end of this chapter. Verse number 38. We will chant 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. We'll try and complete it today. The agenda is not to complete. The agenda is to learn it well. Okay, let's chant verse number 38 onwards here. Nahi jnanena sadrisham, nahi jnanena sadrisham, pavitramiha vidhyate, pavitramiha vidhyate, tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha, tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha, kalenatmani vindhati, kalenatmani vindhati, the soft. So, iha in this world, iha sansare, in the sansar, there is nothing which purifies you like knowledge. Purify here means free you from ignorance. Not only free you from ignorance, for any kind of conflict that I am in, for any kind of problem that I am grappling with. Knowledge gives me a lot of freedom. For instance, last week also I mentioned, somebody is having some complaint in a system. We all have. And let me give you a personal instance. A personal instance. Why leave third party? When I was about 9 years old or something. Long ago. Okay. I had a swelling on my right elbow. Around this place. It used to swell and subside. Swell and subside. Then it used to swell, the pain was excruciating. And as a 9-year-old, I didn't know anything but to cry. And my father, my uncle, all of them, they first applied hot fermentation, apply Iridex, pain balm. You know, you dry roast salt, tight in a cloth, and nothing seems to work. Nothing seems to work. Somebody said, go to an orthopedic surgeon. There was a very famous orthopedic surgeon in Kolkata. We went, my father took me to him. The person touched, so X-ray, there's an X-ray, and the X-ray was done. He looked through it. He said, let's put a plaster. And after putting the plaster, then he said, come after 3-4 days, we will take a X-ray with the plaster on. He took it, very expensive. My father was an ordinary clerk in a company, and he paid through his nose for all this. He again did the X-ray. He said, nothing is visible. Let's cut the plaster and redo it. It had not healed. Then he said, I'll put a plaster again. But before actually putting through the plaster, he spoke to my father. He said, it looks like a tumor there. And we will put the plaster. We'll see how it is. If it doesn't heal, then I will have to amputate the arm from here. That's what he told my father. Father, otherwise a person who was not easily rattled in. He has faced big things in life. And that day he was truly rattled. He couldn't talk to this doctor, but he consulted another person. And he said, as it is, this boy has polio. He'll find it difficult walking. Walking is a project for this guy. You remove his right hand also. And he says, what's the point? And he requested somebody, if possible, mercifully do it so that relieved. Not for my sake, but for the boy's sake. It was confessed to me, my father, after I reached 50 years of age. And I've never seen my father in a very, with a drawn face or long face. I've never seen him like that. I've always seen him cheerful. True to his name. His name is Krishna. It's true to his name. I've never seen him like that. So I could also, as a 9-year-old, could not make out what was going on, but I could see that this man was truly worried. Then he took me to another physical medicine specialist, sports injuries. That was when we first heard of somebody called a physical medicine specialist. We found out that you treat sports persons and things like that, those kind of illnesses. Now, these days, it's a very common thing. And that person, I would love to take his name, Dr. Shanti Kumar Shorkar. I don't know whether he's still around. He used to be in Kolkata. And to him, he touched. He said, "Ekta plaster kore di. Kichu hobe na, it will be fine." So he removed the plaster given by the old doctor. He said, and he put a plaster himself. And he said, keep it on for 2 weeks. At the end of 2 weeks, totally subsided. And there is nothing, it's a benign, it's not even a tumor, it's some swelling, it has gone down. You should have seen the relief on my father's face. I don't know. I mentioned much later when he was 50 years old and he mentioned this to me, the relief on his face was, even at that age, much after this incident had taken place, this relief on his face. When you know that this is nothing, pavitram iha, okay? It purifies, it frees you from all pain, all drags you down. Anything that drags you, bugs you, frees you from all that. That was something like that. Whether it is any pain for that, any problem, when you find a solution to that, it is a cognitive process. When you know this is the solution, when you know this is the solution, there's a lot of relief. We can see it in our small gadgets. Like, when I first got my first phone, I was fiddling around, it wouldn't send messages. Text messages were not going. I called somebody. He said, "Ek baar switch off karo, switch on karo." I switched off, switched on, and started working. It was a big relief. I don't know what happened. So, he says, here we are talking about a knowledge which frees you from the problem of sorrow absolutely. So that's why the teacher says, Nahi jnanena sadrisha. There is nothing equal to jnana here. Okay? Iha pavitram. Nothing is better than knowledge for solving problems. And how do you get it? And tat yoga samsiddhi. Okay? Yoga samsiddhi. There is no process of yoga. The process of yoga here is quite simply not standing on your head. The process of yoga means, if it comes to Vedantic knowledge, we go through Sravana Manana and apply. I don't like to use the word apply, I would like to use the word relate, using Nididhyasa. For anything for that matter, there has to be a committed study. You want to solve something, you have to study it properly. That is Yoga Samsiddhi here. Okay? And when you do that Yoga Samsiddhi, okay, and it says, Atmani, Atmani, and you will, it reveals itself. The solution reveals itself. Atma reveals itself. You have to understand, Atma revealed itself. Somebody coming and saying, "Hey buddy, I am Atma." It's not like that. You understand things crystal clear. Okay, that is the meaning of this verse. Let's go a little step further. Shraddhavan labate jnanam, Shraddhavan labate jnanam, tatpara sanyatendriyaha, tatpara sanyatendriyaha, jnanam labdva param shantim, jnanam labdva param shantim, achirena gacchati, achirena gacchati. Whole verse. Shraddhavan labate jnanam, tatpara sanyatendriyaha, jnanam labdva param shantim, achirena gacchati. Three important requirements for you to get knowledge. Atma Jnanam even more important because it is knowledge about yourself. For any knowledge, we need a certain qualifications. The first thing is Shraddhavan. What is this Shraddha? Shraddha is Veda is a pramana, Shruti is a pramana, the only means of knowledge to know about yourself. That's why it's called pramana. The only means of knowledge is the wrong usage. Pramana means that's the only means to know about oneself. Shruti is the pramana. Shruti Guru Mukhena. These things have to go together. You can't figure it out by yourself. The Guru has to reveal it to you. So, Shraddha on the Shastra, Shraddha on the Guru. Even in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, this is not my kalpana, what I am telling you, what is in the Vedas. So, Shruti is a pramana. We can't call it belief, okay? Belief is subject to knowledge. That I'll go to heaven. And to go to heaven, I have to die. If I go there, I will enjoy. All this is subject to belief, not verifiable beliefs. This is not like that. This is higher than belief. This is knowledge. And for knowing this, I have to have Shraddha. When I open my eyes see color. I don't need a color and forms. I don't need any other validation for that. So, pramana. Unless you understand Shruti as pramana, Vedanta won't. We'll always say, okay, now how do I practice? How do I apply it? Somebody said, no, pure science, applied science. We get lost in all this. So, Shraddha. You must be a person with Shraddha. Shraddhavan. And remember, we studied earlier, I think verse number 34, Pariprashnena, Pranipatena, with humility, and Pariprashnena, you also ask the right questions. You don't, we'll come to that, come to that. Another one. I don't have doubt about the knowledge, but I seek more clarity. I've not understood this. Can you elaborate it better? You said here this, you said here that. Now I'm having a little confusion. Can you clarify it for me? So Shraddhavan, he must be a Shraddhalu. Tat para. Very important. It is not enough if you undergo for sporadic talks whenever you have the time. And whenever I have the time, I will log in. I don't say no, but it is not going to work for you. It is like going for an exercise, and every day morning the people who go for walks. He says, whenever possible, I will come. It's not going to work because every day that you try to work, you're going to end up pulling some muscle here and there. And some priority is always going to take you away from this. Something that is more, perhaps more priority may draw you away. So, tat paraha here means a committed person, a Shraddhalu, and a person with commitment, unflinching commitment. This commitment is revealed in a certain, I know what I want. And all my activities are aligned towards accomplishing what I want. We do it in the Arthakama business. Somebody is in the stock market, he thinks stock throughout the day. Anything, that's how the commitment is. Here, for Atma Vidya, not only do you have Shraddha, you must have a certain unflinching commitment. I'll elaborate a little later, as soon as I come to the next verse. What is the kind of commitment that we need? All my activities have to be aligned towards this goal of mine. That is Tattaraha. Sanyatendriyaha. Sanyam Indriya. So the sense organs and the objects in that field are under control, not suppressed, under control. You grow over the distractions. It is not that I have to remember. I grow over the distractions intelligently. I'm not going to be distracted. I gave you the example. This is the point that I have to play. I am match point. And you should see the announcement. Name of so and so. Championship point. Till such time, first it will be game point. Then they will come to set point. Then come to match point. When it comes to the final, they will say it is championship point. And the commentator is 3 championship points away. Or 1 championship point away. 1 championship point. And if he wins the championship point, he is going to win 14 titles in that particular tournament. And 22 titles overall, which nobody has ever won. Of course, he's going to be some $1 million richer. But ready to serve. Is his mind on all that? His mind is on serving perfectly and getting that one. Sanyatendriyaha. It's possible. It's not something impossible. Just bringing your sense organs to make them work for you. This is the concentration, and then I'm not going to allow distractions. I'm just not going to allow distractions. I am the master, and these are the karana, sanyatendriyaha. These are the 3 very important. Shraddha, tatpara, commitment, and self-mastery. Self-mastery, some students who have studied together in the beginning, Meghna and others, we would have studied Shamadhi, Shakya, Sampatti in Tattva Bodha. When we started studying Tattva Bodha, we would have studied Shamadhi, Shakya, Sampatti. Even in the beginning, I would have told you Shamadama, Uparamastitiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. We would have studied that. Then Viveka Vairagya, Mokshutam Michcha. All this we would have studied. The same way, I have these values in front of me, and I live a life committed to these values. All my activities are aligned to achieving this goal. This is the basic qualification. Okay. Then comes the next thing. He says, Jnanam labdva. He doesn't say if you will get knowledge, then you will get knowledge. Because when these things are there, you are like dry wood and you have to catch fire. Jnanam labdva. What happens? Param shanti madhigacchati. See, right now the shanti that you and I know, the peace that you and I know, is the peace opposed to restlessness. Yeah, I'm a little restless today. Now I'm peaceful. That is the kind of peace I know. When you're talking about Param Shanti, it is not the kind of peace that comes and goes. It is the very content, the awareness in which you are able to see restlessness and absence of restlessness. Shanti, Param Shanti. Param Shanti dur hai, at least you will get relative Shanti. What is that relative Shanti? Understand it as a clearance here. There will be a clearance. There will be space here. This, in the previous verse we studied, Pavitram, there is suddenly seems to be space here. That overcrowded things seem to have. There's space, objectivity. My Guruji calls it clearance. There's a clearance here. Param Shantim Adhigacchati. Very well get it. When? Achirena. Now, not hereafter. You don't have to die to get it. You don't have to go back home to get it. You don't have to come next morning to get it. Achir, now you will get it. What do I do? Commit. Nothing else but commit. Okay. At this point, there is something we have to understand very carefully. It's a fact. If you look at the vastness of the cosmos, our galaxy is a speck, Milky Way. In the Milky Way, solar system, another speck. In the solar system, Bhumi, Earth, another speck. In this Bhumi, Jambu Dvipa, India, another speck. Some of you could be in other countries, I don't know. In India, south of India, some people in north of India, wherever, speck. In Tamil Nadu, Chennai, another speck. In Chennai, some street, speck. In that speak, an apartment, speck. In that apartment, a room, a sofa, where I am sitting, another speck. Compared to the vastness of the universe, are you not insignificant? Do I have to tell you that? So if somebody says, I feel insignificant, I am not surprised. It is not that the Hindu alone feels insignificant. Human being, who is self-conscious, feels insignificant. The self-conscious, if it is not developed enough, then you don't feel insignificant. Like, the cows, donkeys, and all these people don't feel insignificant. The cow is not feeling insignificant. One of the horn is like this. The donkey doesn't feel insignificant, but why I'm not able to kick like the newborn or something like that. But the self-consciousness is so well developed in me that I feel insignificant. This is a universal problem. Now looking closer. Because of this insignificance, there is smallness centered on me, individual. And this person is acutely aware of the things that he doesn't have. In terms of what I have, I am small. In terms of what I do not have, that is vast. Fact. It is not something imagined by, we are not saying imagined. It's a fact for everybody. In terms of what I have, I am small. In terms of what I have, what I don't have is vast. Jagat is so huge, it limits me. Look at me. In terms of my body, I am limited. I am this much and no more. The thin one wants to become fat, the fat one wants to become thin. Something here is not acceptable to me. In terms of my features, there are so many things I would like it to be better. So many things. Some people want to be taller, some people want to be shorter. Some people want squarer shoulders, rounded shoulders. I wish I was not so beefy. I wish I had a little more hair. I wish I had a little less hair. I wish I had different color eyes. I wish my parents were different. I wish my father was more educated. I wish he was more wealthy. I wish I come from a family of illustrious people, scholars and things like that. So in terms of this, I'm a limited. In terms of qualification, definitely limited. In terms of knowledge, even more limited. In terms of my health condition, limited. In terms of my relationship, limited. In terms of my contacts, limited. I wish I could relate better to some people. I'm able to relate to some people better. I'm not able to relate to some people well enough. All these are limitations. I wish I had a bigger apartment. In terms of money, I'm always permanently limited. Permanently wanting inadequate in terms of. And this condition is universal. Not only is universal, it cannot be dismissed. Cannot be dismissed. You can't say, no, you do Brahma Jnana, all this will go. What will go? If I do Brahma Jnana, I'll get money in my bank. There was a guy who used to come to my class. Our Swamiji here was taking the class, and the Swami said, Brahma Jnana will solve the problem. Because he had not, that person has come only for 1 day. Swami had laid a foundation for it. So let's say, Swamiji, can I get I have a doubt? Yes. Suppose I know I am Brahman, will I get a job? Brahman Tarjani Velakachan Swami. So it is not something to be dismissed like that. But you have to understand something. In this limited setup, you can never be happy. Because whichever way you see, your a wall of unhappiness is what that confronts you. For the number of wishes that you fulfill, the number of wishes that you have not fulfilled is so much more. The unfulfilled desires make you a personality. So logically, I can never be happy. But what's your experience? In spite of all your problems, in spite of all the limitations, have you not discovered the happy person in you? Has there not been times when this wanting person, this small person, this insignificant person been dropped? This happened. That is worth knowing. It's worth knowing that logically I cannot be happy, but I find myself happy occasionally. Looking back at many such moments of happiness, many such moments. Right arm was put in a plaster. I couldn't walk. Somebody hit a ball. I caught it with the left hand and threw it. Oh, so much happiness there. I discovered I was ambidextrous. I discovered I could light with the left hand as well. There is, I don't know, it's an experience. I'm not telling this to you. It's an experience. In spite of all your problems, you have discovered a moment of happiness. Two of us were having a lot of issues being solved. We were driving somewhere. I had a friend here who was attending this program. We were driving somewhere. We were discussing some issues. And somewhere along the way, we heard a song and we said, hey, could this note, how this note sounds, how this note. For a few minutes, we found so much joy. So in spite of all your problems, you discover happy moments. Now comes the conclusion. I can be happy without fulfilling my desires. I can be happy in spite of all this. I can be happy without fulfilling my desires. This is a conclusion. Not just a conclusion. It's a significant conclusion, and there is something to be known here. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. This is to be known. What is to be known? What is this happiness? What is this ananda that I'm talking about? When the insignificant person is absent, there is ananda. That's why in deep sleep, you don't want to come out of deep sleep. All your insignificant person has gone to sleep. When I knock off the insignificant person in me, what is there is ananda. If ananda happened okay, let's do all that. No. So that means what? Either I should have no, there's some person said, sir, that means, sir, I'm like very often there was a fellow who told, sir, it is not that I'm suffering from inferiority complex. I'm plain inferior. A lot of people, people well versed in languages and debates and rhetoric can speak all this. They would have listened to some dialogues in some movies, they will reiterate all this. I'm basically an unhappy person. If unhappiness was your nature, I don't know, it sounds very ironic. You would be happy being unhappy. You would never complain that you are unhappy. Have you ever taken your jatakam to somebody and say, I don't know, these days I'm going through so much happiness, please check it's something unfortunate happening? But you do go there when there is unhappiness. So unhappiness is, if it cannot be, you would never complain about unhappiness. Or you never go condole somebody for his unhappiness. You go and say, you deserve all this unhappiness. You do that. Unhappiness cannot be a nature. That leaves only one more thing. Let's look at this happiness. Does it come from outside? Any particular object called happiness? What is happiness now can be unhappiness later. What is one happiness for me can be unhappiness for the other person. So there is no object called happiness. There is no attribute of an object called happiness. Happiness is inside. What inside? Intestines? Heart? Nose? Inside, outside. It doesn't seem to fit up there. Only one other way out. Your essential nature is happiness. But I don't feel that. That is to be known. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. There is a methodology. There is a source. There is a pramana. Using that pramana, using that methodology, the guru, the teacher unfolds this knowledge to you. It clicks. I must have Shraddha. I must be committed. And I must be willing to avoid distractions. It works. It works. It is like somebody, a Janma Andha, never seen light before. Some doctor says, I will operate and make you see. And it now says, in that room, the light, some color, like very deep, dark color. Open your eyes gently. Sir, how do I know if I open my eyes, I will see? He will have to refer you to the nearest psychiatric ward. Nothing else. Doesn't work. You want to see clearance? How it works? Write down all the problems you have in a piece of paper. I once told in a class, write down 3 problems. He said, what 3 problems, sir? Paper is not enough to write down my problems. Okay. Have you written down? You're aware of your problems. Right. There was a person who went for dinner. And he had taken his great Dane along. A Great Dane, a huge dog he had taken. It was one of those restaurants where the dog can also be taken. So he had tied the dog on the leash in one of those outside areas and gone inside to have dinner. And suddenly one of those fellows came running and said, sir, the Great Dane. He said, yeah, it's mine. It's dead. He said, what? My Great Dane is dead. What happened? He said, actually, another fellow came inside along with that chef, that as a steward there. He said, actually, my dog killed your dog. He said, what? Your dog killed my dog. What dog is yours? He said, mine is a Chihuahua. He says, Chihuahua killed my dog, a Great Dane. How? He said, actually, the Great Dane bit my Chihuahua and got stuck in the throat and died. Don't tell me. If you can't laugh for this, I got so much more for you to make you laugh. What problem got solved? Nothing. Are you not seeing the happy person in you? Does it not reinforce the fact that to be happy, you don't need to achieve anything there. It is yourself that you see when the insignificant person is dropped, when there is a clearance. And this is a matter of knowledge. Shraddhavan. You should learn, you should know. You should be committed. It's like a course. And it's not that one day somebody will so bring and it will start working. You have to understand how it works. There is a faulty thinking. There is something faulty in my thinking. that which is not my essential nature, I've taken it to be my essential nature. So I now have to disassociate, not from that object, disassociate from the ignorance. I don't have to give up an object. I've taken this to be me. I don't have to give up the object. I just have to give up the notion that this is not me, this is a glass for me to use. Maybe made of a big, very expensive metal. Seeing the absence of connection between what I want to be and what I'm doing. It's a viveka, vairagya. Seeing the absence of connection, seeing my wrong associations, my mistaken notions. I just have to de-link from all of them. Every time I de-link, there is a clearance. It comes from Shraddha, commitment, self-mastery. And if there is something which tells me that you are a limitlessly happy being, Ananta Swarupa, is it worth knowing or not worth knowing? With this, let's go into the next verse. The next verse, the teacher says, Agyascha Shraddhadanascha Shraddhadanascha Samshayatma Vinashyati Samshayatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti na paro Nayam Lokosti na paraha Nasukam Samshayatmanaha. Now, I have told you something about happiness, how it works. All of us were ignorant to this fact. Okay? All of us. Now, when this was revealed to us, and somebody said, yeah, there's a clearance. I said, oh, yeah, he's right. Right. When there is a clearance, what is your immediate next response? Oh, yeah, there is some meaning in what the teacher is saying. Whereas, suppose you said, I'm bluff man. The fellow is bluffing. Such a fellow, not only is an agya means a fellow who is an ignorant person. Not only is ignorant, he is a ashraddha dana. And the world abounds with ashraddha. The world abounds. I've been doing this satsanga for a very long time. Very long time. 1990 or 91 I started. So you can see 30 plus years, 3 decades. Has only reinforced the whole thing to me. Invariably, when when I tell you that this clearance is there and things like that, at the first instant people say, ah, my God, wow, this is a new one. Then sir, when are you holding these classes? Yeah, obviously. Everybody and his uncle will enroll. And after that comes the next part. There was a person who was very regular, a budding teenager, 19, not a child, 19, 20, and was learning very well. He suddenly stopped coming. I asked, what happened? I said, my family is not encouraging. I said, why are they not encouraged? So I didn't go and ask. I don't go and ask people. Then one of the class person who brought that person went to their house, and the parents are saying, no. I want him to study IIT, IAS, and all this. He will lose the competitive edge if he studies all this now. So agya, not only are they ignorant, but Shraddha also is absent. It's not meant for you. Then somebody said the person who is taking the class, he is not some riffraff dropout. The person is a very good position in the banking industry. They said, no, after reaching only he started all this. So let this person reach, then he can come. See, look at the logic. He has achieved everything. He has got nothing to lose. Financially, he's got no problem. So all the problems are solved. He doesn't have anything to lose. Therefore, he is doing all this. Or they will say the fellow has taken a lot of hits in life. That's why he is doing all this. Ashraddhada. So, Agyascha, Ashraddhadanascha. Then there is a third character. Samshayatmana. I tell you, this Ashraddhadana fellow I can tolerate. It's okay. He has got something, he says, all this will not. The Samshayatma, because use the word not doubting Thomas, some expression. The fellow is in perpetual doubt. Cynical fellow. A lot of such people. Lot of cynical people. You offer advice to somebody. That person will say, why do you want to get into all this? If you don't do something, no, you are a teacher, you should have done that. If you are on this side, he will go to that side. If you are on that side, he will come to this side. It's perpetual samshayat. Vedanta and all work will not work, sir. They are only for armchair people. After studying Vedanta, sometimes these sad things come. Look at how these sad things. How much? I came to this house sometime 2000, this place. From 2003, somebody started studying. 2021, the person feels that I have gone into, the person feels that they met somebody who do past life regression. I can sit in samadhi for hours together. From 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock next day, I sat in samadhi. What do you get? I got a lot of peace of mind. Ashraddhada, not only Ashraddhada, Samshayatmana. See, it is something like saying, I have come and done a degree, doctorate, and now I want to go back to study to class 1. I have not learned twinkle, twinkle properly. Let me go back and learn. He's like an absolute peace. I want to talk to his family. Somebody at 10 o'clock sits in absolute meditation till 6 o'clock next morning. I want to talk to the family members. What do they think? What happens to their peace of mind? They will come and tell, I don't know what has happened. When he was attending your class, you were all laughing, talking, having some fun, listening to music. Now 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, if I said what he does after that, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, he goes to sleep. Not commenting on anything, he said, the teacher here says, Agyascha, Ashraddhadanascha, Samshayatmana Vinashyati. Vinashyati doesn't mean that you will become some kind of dropout, desperate scum. You have missed out the essence of life. Happiness is your nature. To know that you are a happy person, you don't have to do anything. You just have to open your, make available yourself to the pramana, follow a regularity in class and follow some discipline. It's like going for a course. I tell people, come for somebody's message me the other day. Do you teach Bhagavad Gita? Yes, I teach. How long will it take? I said there are 700 verses and roughly we cover about 4 verses a day. So 700 divided by 4. That many verses it's going to take. Roughly, let's say 180 verses, it's going to take 180 hours. And if you want a more elaborate study, maybe it will take 250, 300 hours. What do you charge? Next question. No, this is one way to put off all this big book. I said 1,000 rupees an hour. 3 lakhs it will take. I said, yeah. To realize you're a happy person, you have to spend 3 lakhs. We'll come back, sir. No way of that. One way to put off all this Ashraddha person. I'm not saying the person may be. Person may feel that you have saved 300,000 rupees. And it's not that I'm missing 300,000 rupees. Vinashyati here. Thank you. Quite simply means you have missed the trick. You have missed the trick of being happy and continue the struggle to become happier. Vedanta is all about discovering the happy being. If you miss it and go about becoming, you have missed the trick. It doesn't say you will be unhappy, but you will be in that, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, 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 minus, 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 little. It go on like this is how your life would be. Vinashyati. Such a person is like, I am loka. Even in this world, he will be unhappy. Forget about going elsewhere. Because there are a lot of beliefs. On death, you will go there. And what will you do there? Eat it. You look at all these belief systems. One fellow will give you bread, another fellow will give you dates, a third fellow will give you puli sadam, tair sadam. And you don't have a body to eat that because your body is left here. These whores will sing for you, fan you, dance for you. You don't have a body, everything left in. What dance you will see? Should you not apply your brain on all these areas? Thinking. Okay. The teacher says, virtually, teacher wrinkles, you can't find happiness here. What happiness you will find in Swarga? Meaning, this doubting mind will, assuming you're going somewhere. This doubting mind along you will take. Krishna will put you in his chariot. What is the guarantee this chariot will go to Goloka? Why not to some other Loka? So, agyascha, ashraddhadhanascha, samshayatma, vinashyati. You missed that trick. जिस चीज के लिए आए थे, मिस हो गया भाई. Miss it. Now, I am loka, which you don't get happiness here. Forget about getting happiness elsewhere. With this kind of mind, one fellow says, I want to go in this life in this land. You can't live here properly. It is indisciplined setup. You want to live in a disciplined setup. Bakwas karte hue. Verse number 41 and 42. Yoga sanyasta karmanam. Yoga sanyasta karmanam. Jnana samchinna samshayam. Jnana samchinna samshayam. Atmavantam na karmani. Atmavantam na karmani. Nibatnanti dhananjaya. Nibatnanti dhananjaya. Oh Krishna, Dhananjaya, whole verse. Yoga sanyasta karmanam. Jnana samchinna samshayam. Atmavantam na karmani. Nibatnanti dhananjaya. Hey Dhananjaya, Arjuna. You have assumed that by doing certain things, it definitely gives you pain. So you have assumed that by not doing certain things, you will be happier. Your pursuit, your paradigms are wrong. To be a happy person, you have to discover the happy person in you. So he says to be a happy person, you don't have to do anything. It's a matter of knowledge. Arjun reads that do and not do anything means avoid all responsibilities. To which the teacher says, you cannot avoid responsibilities. You have to do what is required to be done in a spirit of yoga. Two things. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Ishvara Prasada Buddhi. Work for a bigger cause. If you work for sales, watch, and then Jnanam, an awareness of realities, an abidance in reality. Reality is knowledge, okay? Knowledge of reality is knowledge. Jnana, jnana, chinna samshayam. It cuts asunder the doubt. Chinna samshayam. It blows the doubts to smithereens. Atmavanta. Who is this Atmavanta? This Atmavanta is a person, okay, who is committed. Angapatalla, Tatpara. Such person is Atmavanta. He is clear about his goal. He said, happiness is what I want. I am going to avoid doing anything that does not take me to this destination. We'll see it a little more carefully. The Arjun says, I want to stop working. No, you can't stop working. You have to do it. Atmavanta. And such a person, karmani. Karmani here means the action and the results of action don't bog him down. Meaning when you do something, there is an unpleasant result. The unpleasant result can perhaps give you guilt, can perhaps give you remorse, can give you disappointments, despair. These things can bog you down. You don't get bogged down. This verse number 41, verse number 42. I'm not rushing through. Okay? We'll do a summary of the whole thing in our next section. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam hitstam jnana asinatmanah. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam hitstam jnana asinatmanah. Chitvainam samshayam yogam Atishto tishta bharata, atishto tishta bharata. So whole verse. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam hitstam jnana sinatmanah chitvainam samshayam yogam uttishto tishta bharata. So he says, therefore, hey Bharata, hey Arjun, okay, by this yoga, meaning by Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, what do you do? Okay, rooted in this Atishta, okay, Atishta, well assimilated conviction, rooted in this well assimilated conviction, whatever has come out of ignorance, ajnana sambhutam, whatever is born of ignorance, your wrong conclusions, your conflicts, okay, which have well rooted in your system. Conflicts have occupied all those systems in your system. Okay, all these samshayam, jnana asina. Asina means a sword. By the sword of knowledge, chitva, cut them asunder. Uttishta. What did Vivekananda say? Uttishta. Get up. You are bogged down by, like, as you know, that silkworm. Cocoon, 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 cocoon. You have to break out and discover the butterfly in you. Break out. And our knowledge. So we have bound ourselves. We are ignorant bound. We are ignorance bound by our conclusions, notions. What's the notion? That I have to become better. A change of permutation, combination will perhaps make me happier. Either that side or this side, some changes will perhaps make me happier. Teaching comes and says, no. That quest will make you unhappy. Because that's not the problem. The problem is something else. The problem is mistaken notion. Your eye is placed in the wrong place. Place it in the right place and discover everything falls in place. It aligns. That's the, when you know that, jnana karma sannyasa. Sannyasa means renunciation. When you know things for what they are, actions, pleasant or unpleasant, the outcomes don't bog you down. Clear here. Clearance here. Clearance here, I do what is required to be done. I have to do a very, very complicated surgery. At the end of it, I don't know whether the patient will survive. Let me try my best. I know my procedure well. I know this. Somebody first time did a heart transplant operation. There's a certain pursuit of excellence for that person. Here, when there's a clarity in front of you. Yeah, I am a happy being. I am required to do certain things by virtue of the roles I play. And because I do certain things, they'll be pleasant, they'll be unpleasant. This is the fact. What do? Do my best. In such a case, the outcomes of the action don't bog me down. It is called jnana karma. In knowledge, I have given up being bound by the unpleasant results of action. Okay, and it concludes saying, Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturthodhyayah. That's how it concludes. In the next session, I will give you a summary of this chapter, chapter 4. I'll give you a complete summary of chapter 4. In the following session, we will enter chapter 5. And chapter 5 again is they're all connected. Every chapter is connected. They're all connected. Chapter 5 is a smaller chapter. Okay? It just has about 28. It is just about 29 shlokas there. And chapter, 29 shlokas. And it is called, it is called Karma Sannyasa Yoga. It is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. It is a Karma Sannyasa. Renunciation of action itself. Oh my. We'll see that with the blessings of the Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa, Ishvara Anugraha, Atma Kripa. All these 4 factors have to come together. We pray that we be able to continue. Let us be Tatpara. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Skino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalinim Desho Yam Shobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Gurubhyo Namah Sadgurubhyo Namah Swami Dayanand Maharaj ki jai ho, sab santon ki jai ho, Pavan Putra Hanuman ki jai ho, Bajrang ki jai. We'll meet you all next week. If you have questions, you can mail me at rbi.mohan@gmail.com. Try and answer. Oh,